Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered aboard and to GUI. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm back, and this is Abraham's land connection. From the previous videos I've done with the land connection, this is another one, and you will see, in fact, Abraham's land connection. Many people, my new subs, you may not know what land connection is. You may need to go back and look at the previous videos that's dealing with land connection. The land connection is very, very important, and I'm going to show you here the importance of land connection with scripture dealing with Abraham. And the first scripture I'm going to show is Genesis 12 1 through 7, and it says, "Now Yahuwah had said to Abraham, get out of your country." This is what he said to him. I want you to remember this first verse. This is what he said. Get out of your country. One thing we need to know about Abraham is the fact that he was born and lived in Babylon, ancient Babylon, modern day Iraq. And so we will see a parallel dealing with today and what he did. We know that things that's done in the past, it will be done again. And this is one of the things, him saying get out. He was saying flee, come out of her. This is what he was saying. And we have this same, he's telling us the same thing today. Flee Babylon. This is what he's saying. Come out of her. Come out of your country. Come out from your family. See, when you leave Babylon, you're coming out from amongst your family. He says, and from your father's house to a land. So this is for those that says no, you flee spiritually. You know, I'm blue in the face now. I'm blue in the face. And I know everyone is not going to get it. I get that. Everyone will not understand. He will not give you the discernment, and you still will walk in darkness. But it says to a land. No one in scripture done anything supernaturally where they disappeared from one place to another. It didn't happen. Everyone there had to move. So it says to a land that I will show you. He says, I will make you a great nation. I will barak you and make your name great, and you shall be a barakah. We know the story. I will barak those that barak you, and I will curse him who curses you. And then all the families of the earth shall be baraked. Okay, verse 4. So Abram, listen what verse 4 says. So Abram departed as Yahuwah has spoken to him. This is what makes him a friend of the Most High. He did what he said. When he said something, one thing about Abram, he did not question the Most High. If he told him to do something, he did it, and that was it. So he departed as Yahuwah had spoken to him, and Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Then Abram took Sarah his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possession they had gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran. Okay, and they departed to go to the land of Canaan. So we see them departing and going to the land of Canaan. So they came to the land of Canaan. Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh. And the Canaanites were then in the land. Okay, verse 7. Then Yahuwah appeared to Abram and said, all right, remember, the first verse, the word came to him. We see the word came to him, and when he got into the land, he made this land connection, and this is when he appeared to him. You must understand, when this word came to Abram, he was outside of the borders. He was outside within his land, and so the word just came to him. See, when you outside of his borders, the word may come to you, but he will not appear to you. This is what I'm seeing here. He says, so then Yahuwah appeared to Abram and said, to your descendants I will give this land, the land where he was at. This is the promise, I will give this land. And Abram knew the importance of this, and there he built an altar to Yahuwah who had appeared to him. Okay, next I'm going to go to, this is Jubilees 12, and I'm going to read 16 and 17. And it's going to, this is the same story, and it's going to go in, Jubilee's going to go in a little deeper to find out when was this. 16 and 17 going to let us know when this was. And in the 6th week of the 5th year thereof, Abram sat up throughout the night on the new moon, the new month of the 7th month. So the new moon, the first day of the month of the 7th month, we understand that's the Feast of Tabernacle. I'm sorry, the Feast of Trumpets. And you say, well, how is that the Feast of Trumpets? Moshe hadn't came to give the law yet. You must understand that these days was already set. Before the foundations of the world was laid, these days were already set. In the 7th month, and he observed the stars in the evenings and the mornings, in order to see what would be the character of the year with regard to rains. And he was alone as he sat and observed. Verse 17. And a word came, here's the word again, the word came into his heart and said, all the signs of the stars and the signs of the moon and the sun are all in the hand of Yahuwah. Why do you search them out? Okay, so I'm just making known here that it was definitely the Feast of Trumpets, the first day of the 7th month. This is when that word came to him. Okay, this is Jubilees 13 and 1 through 7. In Abram's journey from Haran, here's his journey. Oh, actually, you must understand, his journey started in Babylon. This is where his journey started, ancient Babylon. And he wanted him out of Babylon and into the land. Same where it is today. Nothing, Ecclesiastes 1:9 said there's nothing new under the sun. What people are doing today is nothing strange. If Abram was here today, he would be telling you to come out of her. This is what his word says. I had to do the same thing. This is what Abram would say to us. And Abram journeyed from Haran and took Sarah his wife and Lot his brother's Haran's son to the land of Canaan. So it's echoing the same thing we saw in Genesis. And he came into Ashur and proceeded to Shechem and dwelt near a lofty oak. And he saw and behold the land. He saw and behold the land. Listen at this. It's going to describe this land, that it was very pleasant. I've been telling you about this land. And here's his land connection. I've been telling you and I've been telling you. The scripture, let me back up. The scripture is telling you what this land is like, but people are not getting it. They are focusing and concentrating on the wrong things. It says the land was very pleasant from the entering of Hamath to the lofty oaks. And Yahuwah said to him, to thee and to your seed will I give this land. This is the promise. And he built the altar there, and he offered burnt offerings. So here we have Abram offering burnt offerings to Yahuwah. Now he knew how to do this because he had the books, he had the records, who had appeared to him. And there was no Bible. This lets you know that there were other words that we don't have in the Bible. And he removed from there unto the mountain Bethel west of Ai on the east, and pitched his tent there. And he saw and behold, the land was very wide. This land was very wide and good, and everything grew thereon: the vines, the figs, the pomegranates, the oaks, the lexus, the terebinth, and the oil trees, and cedars, and cypress, and date trees, and all the trees of the field. And there was water on the mountains. This is how Yahuwah has set it up. He will allow the water to water from the mountains, and it will down to the valleys. And he barak Yahuwah, who had led him out of Ur of the Chaldeans. And in the scripture, Babylon is the land of the Chaldeans. Again, this is nothing new. This is not foreign to us. And had brought him to this land. This is Abraham's land connection. And once he connected, this is when he made the promise. This is when he received the promise. This is when he flourished. You must understand, Abraham, he went through extensive training and learning. It's not in the Bible, but he went through extensive training and learning to know Yahuwah and his ways. And he learned from his father Shem. Shem was the one that taught our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They learned, they had to go to the house of Shem. And this is something people don't understand. They look at Genesis, we see very little in the Bible concerning Abraham, our father, and it's like we don't understand what they went through, what they knew. We don't, because it's not mentioned. This account, you can also find part of this in Acts 7, 1 through 4. Stephen gives the account, and he's saying the exact same thing. He was in Mesopotamia, which is ancient Iraq, Babylon, and he had to come out. He had the word, the same word we got today, to come out of her. Come out from your countrymen. Come out from your family. Come out from amongst them. He's saying, separate yourself from the abominations of the land. This is what he's saying. This is what he's telling us today. But again, many will miss this because of false doctrines, because of false teachings. You will see this, you will see that, and it's far from the truth. Abraham, he was a man that listened. He did what the Father say. He didn't ask questions. What we're going to do, where we're going to go. He trusted in the Most High. This is what made him a friend. He was obedient to the Father, and he done what the Father asked him to do. This video is not to, it's not to poke at anyone, make fun of anyone, because a lot of people go against him telling his people to come out. The people, it's kind of funny. I have to laugh sometimes. They fight against him. They fight against his word. Notice the word came to Abram. It came to him. And when he went in the land and he made the land connection, this is when he appeared to him. So it's something, I'm telling you, it's something when you make that land connection, when you come back to the land of the forefathers and make that land connection. All the mighty men in the Bible made that land connection. Those that was righteous, those that were Kadash, they made the land connection, and they know what it's all about. To not make a land connection ever in your life is tragic. It's an absolute, it's devastating. I hope you take it to heart and it barak you. Hope everyone doing well. Shalom.